Welcome to this explainer. We're diving into something incredibly practical today. We're going to take a dense repository of SAP project phrases and translate them into a literal tactical survival playbook. If you're an IT pro, especially in the FI/CO space, bridging the gap between global headquarters, local teams, and implementation vendors, you already know that the technical configuration is really only half the battle. The other half? Communication.
So here's our roadmap for navigating an S/4HANA global rollout. We've got Global English Basic Principles, taking control of meetings, defending templates and requirements, aligning FI/CO business design, and wrapping up with risk management and go live.
Section 1, Global English Basic Principles, establishing a confident baseline. Let's kick off Actoi by building your foundation and breaking a few bad communication habits.
Think about a typical convoluted project update. You know the kind. Long, slightly apologetic sentences that completely dilute your message and make you sound unsure. It's a total trap. Instead, you want to use short, direct, fact-based statements. Something like, the local data was incomplete. As a result, we could not complete the reconciliation. Boom! Instantly, you project clarity, authority, and confidence.
Beyond just keeping it brief, there are a few core rules you absolutely have to internalize. First, separate the cold hard facts from your professional assessments and recommendations. Don't mix them up. Second, banish vague statements like, we need to check this soon. Specify exactly who needs to do what and by when. And finally, and this is a massive one for global projects, you've got to master the conceptual pivot between understanding a request and actually agreeing to it. Saying, I understand your request definitely does not mean I will build this for you.
Moving to Section 2, take in control of meetings, setting boundaries early. With that confident mindset established, it's time to step into the meeting room and assert control.
You need to position yourself at the head of the table right from the jump. You do this by explicitly stating the purpose of the meeting and the required outcomes the very second you kick things off. Don't wait for the conversation to naturally find its way. State exactly what needs to be achieved before anyone leaves the call.
But let's be real, projects are messy. What happens when a local team completely derails your carefully planned agenda with totally unrelated issues, or they start repeating the exact same arguments over and over again?
Well, you use this exact phrase. Let's capture that as a separate action item. It's a brilliant tactical tool. It validates the speaker's concern so they actually feel heard, but it politely and firmly pushes back, keeping the current meeting strictly focused on the critical path. It's incredibly effective for managing time and boundaries. Section 3. Defending templates and requirements, navigating the fit-to-standard conflict. As we enter Act 2 of the project, tensions are definitely going to rise. You're deep into requirements gathering and process design, and everyone wants the new system to work exactly like their old one.
Fit to standard is the core battle of any SAP rollout. You've got to continually remind the team that the objective here is not to start from a blank sheet of paper, and it is certainly not to just reproduce their legacy system in SAP. Local entities are expected to adapt to the global template wherever legally and operationally possible.
Conflict peaks when local units insist on customizing the system based purely on their old habits. They'll swear that their local preference is absolutely critical for business survival. So how do you respond when the pressure is on and they're aggressively demanding a custom development?
Here's your ultimate pivot tool. I understand the requirement, but the solution is still under discussion. Remember that rule we talked about earlier? You're acknowledging their business pain point, you hear them, but you are absolutely not committing to a custom development that would ruin your clean global core. It buys you crucial time to evaluate standard SAP configurations or operational workarounds without shutting them down completely.
Section 4. Aligning FI/CO business design, bridging the gap across work streams. Let's go a little deeper into Act 2, where we have to navigate specific finance and controlling design discussions. Here, cross-functional terminology must be perfectly aligned.
When you're discussing financial integration in S/4HANA, you're going to talk a lot about the Universal Journal, or ACDOC. It's the single source of truth unifying financial and management accounting views. But here's the massive catch. A technically unified table does not automatically guarantee consistent business reporting. If the underlying master data and derivation logic are flawed, the reporting is still going to be a total mess.
So, never assume alignment. It's crazy how casual language hides massive dangers in these projects. When someone says order, do they mean a sales order in SD, a purchase order in MM, or a production order in PP?
When they say cost, are they talking standard or actual? You have to stop the meeting and verify these definitions. You've got non-native speakers across Europe, Asia, and South America collaborating. You have to ensure everyone is on the exact same page before a single line of configuration is written.
Finally, Section 5, Risk Management and Go Live, landing the plane successfully. This is the climax of the rollout. You are dealing with serious schedule pressure, testing defects, and the high-stakes push to go live.
To effectively manage project escalation during this critical phase, you absolutely must distinguish between 4 distinct project management concepts. A risk is something that might happen in the future. An issue? That's a fire you're fighting right now. An assumption is a hypothesis your schedule relies on, and a dependency means you are waiting on someone else entirely. Mixing these up in a status report to steering committees creates massive confusion. Always use the precise term.
Now, one of the biggest risks to your go-live is data migration. The project team must strictly control the extract, transform, and load process. The business is responsible for cleansing their source data, because you absolutely cannot use the SAP migration to just transfer old data quality problems into your brand new system.
As Go Live approaches, you are going to face intense pressure. Imagine this scenario. The migrated balance agrees at the total level, but several line items remain unmatched due to rounding or currency conversions. The business is exhausted, the deadline is tomorrow, and people are just pleading, "Can we just sign off?"
Here's where you have to hold the line on quality. You tell them all material differences must be explained, documented, and approved before formal sign-off. Remind your stakeholders that a technically successful data load running in the background does not prove business readiness. You need formal approval that the business can actually run on this data. This philosophy right here is the ultimate goal of your entire playbook. Whether you're dealing with a complex WBS structure for an engineer-to-order project or just setting up cost allocations, you are constantly balancing control with simplicity. It's all about landing the project with a clean, globally consistent system that truly serves the business without weighing it down with unnecessary local complexity.
Which brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. The technical side of SAP, that's just the prerequisite. The real implementation happens in how you communicate. So the next time you face a complex global rollout, are you going to let the project manage you? Or will you use these exact phrases to assert control, defend the template, and drive the project to a successful go-live? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you for joining this explainer.